have you ever either you yourself witnessed or heard about things to do with how they supervise athletes, on trips away or anything like that, or coming to, the home nations event, in terms of supervision being inadequate or them being absent from their athletes? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I'm not aware of any situations out with the Scotland team. And with the Scotland team, in terms of people going absent, no, I don't have any examples of that.
That's absolutely fine. Thinking about conversations that you may have had, or personal, I guess the way that people sort of come across personally, can you think of any words, language, phrases that individuals may have used that caused you to think, oh, that's a bit inappropriate or not quite right for working with young people?
And this was Mark contacted me, this was in August, about an incident that had happened, in 2010, when the team was in Cork. And so this, again, I wrote up a sort of a summary of this and I did send it to Mark, but what it centered on was, at the time, so Brian Steele was there, and there was a group of ASRA athletes. It was the junior women, and so
when you say junior, I know that there is an under 18 or a rowing junior, if that makes sense. Yeah. So roughly, when we say junior, what was the age group of your juniors in this incident? Roughly.
They would either have been 17 or 18. This is the from at different times, we've taken a slightly different approach to how we handle the junior category. So sometimes we've treated anybody who is a rowing junior as if they were under the age of 18, and other times we've kept the distinction between what the actual age. So I can't remember what all I can tell you is that they were part of the junior team, and I suspect, given it was that actually they were probably all under 18, but they would have been 17.
Okay.
So there was a concern by the ASRA coaches, who would have been Brian Steele, Ian Duncan, and Colin Wallace, that this group were trying to obtain alcohol. So, and this took place at the banquet, which happens after the regatta. So, part of it. So there was a concern that they were trying to obtain alcohol, and that they had been trying to get adults from other teams to buy it from. So they were being sat down just in the foyer of the hotel to effectively keep them out of trouble. Was the way that was going. So I was speaking to Brian, and again I can't recall exactly what we talked about, how long we talked about, but we were talking about the challenges of looking after juniors, and specifically then moved on to his own daughter who was part of the team, and then so he used a phrase to words to the effect of she's got tits, she's got an ass, what are you going to do? So, and I that's not verbatim, but I remember that he used the two words there, the tits and ass, and that was memorable that he should use those words. So I took what he was saying is that he was genuine in his concern about what he was trying to say. He didn't say it in a jovial manner, and it was said to me, it wasn't said in front of the athletes or anybody else. But yeah, I remember those words because they wouldn't have been words that I would have used to describe that situation. But I didn't think at the time that there was any reason for me to be concerned of that, and I probably still think that to this day, that it was the choice of language was unusual, but in the context of what was being discussed, it was. I understood what was going on.
I've got a note here that there may have been another incident where either yourself or maybe Laura had to deal with Johnny Muir about swearing on another when he was on staff. And I just wonder if you recall that incident and you could give me a little bit more about that one.
So that would have been, I think that's 2018, I think that was. So that was at the restaurant, I can't remember the name, the Toby Carvery restaurant that was at Strathclyde Park. And so the athletes were staying at the accommodation, which was the hotel which was next door, and that's where we were having dinner. So the coaches were sitting at a table. I can't actually remember if actually the rest of the team were about there, or whether it was just the coaches. But it was a table of coaches. It wasn't a table of coaches and athletes. And there was a general conversation about, I can't remember what the conversation was. And I can tell you I'll tell you the words Johnny said. The words is that he said "fuck's sake" is what he said. That's what he said. And Laura then said to Johnny, Johnny swearing, and I can't even remember if there was other people around. He said that, and then I think Johnny was sort of taken aback that he should be pulled up for use of his language like that, and sort of walked out. So that was that. That's my recollection of that.
If you think about, you said Ian Duncan was one of the coaches that's been on and off that program over the years. Is that right, from ASRA?
Yes.
So just thinking about Ian Duncan in terms of the way he engages with athletes and coaches them, can you recall anything specifically about Ian that would cause you to be concerned? And it doesn't have to be like red flag concerned, but in general, how he engaged with athletes, both while coaching or socially on that program.
No, I can't think of anything related to Ian.
And are you aware of any nicknames which may have been appropriate or inappropriate that the coaches from ASRA may have called themselves?
They called themselves, or mm-hmm. I don't know that.
Yeah, so whether Ian or Johnny or Colin, whether they had inappropriate nicknames for each other.
I'm not aware of any nicknames at all.
That's cool. And did they use any inappropriate nicknames or language towards the young people?
No, I'm not even, I can't think of any. If you'd asked me of any nickname they had for any of the athletes, I can't think of any.
It's really the same question about Brian Steele as a coach. So, beyond the incident you told me about in the lobby where that language was a bit unusual, for him, was there anything in his coaching of young people or management with, or interactions with them socially that you'd say caused you to be concerned or was less than professional?
No, I don't have any instances of that. So.
And again, just with Brian, was there any nicknames that you're aware that he might have been called or he used for children that might have been inappropriate?
No, in both those instances.
And then I think Colin Wallace, so it's exactly the same in terms of his coaching or social interactions with young people on the programs. Were there any times where you found his behaviour, coaching or socially, to be inappropriate or concerning with children and young people?
On the 2012 Home International Regatta in Cardiff, mm-hmm. There was a team meeting. We'd arrived at the event and there was a team meeting, so it's the first opportunity for everyone to sort of get together. They get giving out their kit, and then the team captains and a few people will say some words. And the Scottish rowing director of performance at the time, who was Ian White. Mm-hmm. So I think I said a few things. A few other people spoke, and he was up and he was basically saying to everyone sort of like this, like, well done that